Hello, you. It's me. And I've been watching a channel called Link, which is where this picture comes from. It's a still from their video. And they were investigating Gypsy Rose Blanchard's possible pregnancy lies. And there are, from what I could see, inconsistencies with her baby bump during pregnancy. At this point, I'm guessing, from what I know, that she's about 5 months along. Now, Gypsy, I looked up her height, and it says that her height is 4'11". So I am 2 inches taller. I'm 5'1". And I have an ample bosom, as Gypsy seems to as well, especially for our height, or our heights, I should say. And here's the thing. When I was pregnant with my child, I didn't even show until I was about 5 months, which is about where she's at. And it wasn't until 7 months that my baby bump protruded beyond my breasts, so that I didn't just look overweight, I looked pregnant. It took 7 months to achieve that. And so I agree that there are some inconsistencies with the photos. Definitely some things are photoshopped. And I think that if you are very insecure with yourself, which I would imagine Gypsy could be, then she might have just photoshopped some of those pictures to smooth out some of the lines, make her feel better. I mean, let's be honest. It's there and people use it all the time. And I don't know if she's doing that to manipulate. This video specifically was drawing the possible speculative conclusion that she might be lying to keep Ken. Lying about being pregnant in order to keep Ken because her baby bump doesn't look right. And all I'm saying, I'm not a big fan of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Let me just make that clear. I'm definitely in neutral territory. I feel like she can be very manipulative. The fact that her soon-to-be ex-husband announced that he was going to a football game, and then it just so happens that her and Ken went to that same game. I mean, that's not, that's very petty behavior, which I'm not surprised of, because she missed, 8.5 or so years or 10 years of maturing and growing within the community. So I'm not surprised if some of her maturity has stalled. I think that move was an intentional one. I think she was being manipulative, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's lying about her pregnancy. And the reason that I say this is, yes, there are ways that you can fake it. I've seen it before. I'm sure you've seen things online where they've shown women who were pretending to be pregnant and weren't. There was some YouTuber who had a huge following who pretended to be pregnant and then said it was a social experiment, and people hated her after that. I mean, this happens. But in Gypsy's position, I don't think that she would lie about this. She's trying to prove to the world that she can go on, be normal, live a normal life. She's now with Ken, who obviously she was in love with all this time anyway. Ryan was just used to have a place, I guess, to go after she got out of jail. I don't know, or prison. I don't know all the specifics on that, but it did kind of look like she used him for a while. And I've seen a few episodes of Life After Lockup, not a lot, but a few. And it seems like this is kind of a common thing where somebody will use somebody on the outside so they have a place to go besides a family home or something, and they treat them awful, and then the first moment that they have the chance, they dump them for someone else. I mean, I've seen it a lot. And it looks like just this might be what Gypsy did, but I don't know. Maybe she genuinely wanted to make it work with Ryan, and she just couldn't stand him, and Ken was there waiting for her, and so she took advantage of that and went to Ken. I think that's probably more to the point. I think maybe she genuinely wanted to try, and it just wasn't working for her. And she was in love with Ken anyway. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's right or not. That's just how I feel about it. But again, when I was pregnant, I did not show till 5 months, even the slightest bump. And even then, it wasn't until 7 months before I looked actually pregnant and not just overweight. And with her being of small stature like I am, and with a larger chest like I have, I think that could actually be part of it. That her belly just isn't protruding out enough to really show like a pregnant person yet. And I'm just saying that's what happened to me. It's anecdotal. I understand that. But I just, considering Gypsy's position, I find it really difficult to believe that she would intentionally fake a pregnancy to keep Ken. Maybe she would, but would she announce it to the world like she has? I don't know. Is she going to have a sudden miscarriage or something? God, I hope not. I have a hard time believing that she would want to fake it to that degree. I think she is pregnant. I think she probably has a similar situation to what I did, where just being big-chested and a first child, it doesn't show quite as much as a second or third. I think honestly that's what it is. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's my opinion. Again, I'm very neutral when it comes to Gypsy. I find her somewhat interesting because she's really trying desperately to like be seen as a normal person, and I guess I could understand that, but honestly, the whole situation is really messy. The fact that her ex, who actually did the murder, the fact that he has gotten life, I think, and she only got 10 years, that is also very disturbing to me, because it doesn't seem fair. I don't know. Tell me what you think, because it's very messy and horrible and understandable at times, and it's really hard to have an opinion. I understand being abused by a parent or parents. I understand the want of getting away from them, and I even understand to some degree wishing you could make them go away. Now, most people like myself don't go that extra step. She did. And that fact we know. And I can understand to some degree how she came to that conclusion, even though it was obviously a very wrong one. And she does seem to be a bit manipulative now. I don't know whether to say she's a good person or a bad person, or maybe just someone in the middle struggling, which is why I'm neutral with her. I don't really know what to think. I don't know her. I don't come in contact with her. So everything that I say is speculation anyway. I know that she does kind of overuse the little voice that she has, and that look of wide-eyed ignorance and innocence, and yeah, she uses that a bit. But I just have a hard time believing that she would fake a pregnancy with all that is against her to begin with. It's just very hard for me to say. And like I said, I didn't show for quite some time, and her having a similar body type to mine, that could be the reason for her not having, a baby bump. So I just wanted to clarify that again. She could be. I don't know. Like I said, I'm very neutral on her. I really don't know what to think about her. It's none of my business, whatever I think of her anyway. It's her business. I still wish her well. And if she is pregnant, I hope it's a good, healthy pregnancy and a healthy birth and a healthy child. And if she's faking it, that's really sad. And she's got some deep-seated issues that really need to be addressed, for certain. And that could be true anyway. But anyway, that's giving you my opinion of whether she's faking her pregnancy or not. I kind of think she isn't, because I just don't see a good reason for it. And I guess that's all I gotta say.